Good day, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. We are about to actually be in the Singapore GP qualifying moments. That live chat is already up. But before we get there, I figured we'd talk about this post that, Formula One really are some professional trolls. They know how to troll things, they know how to post certain things. Their marketing team is absolutely excellent at getting reactions. They know how to post certain things, and people. I wouldn't have even done a video about this had some of the posts I not seen been a little bit obnoxious. What's going on, Paul in the super chat? What's going on, brother? We will be live for qualifying in a little bit. That live link is already up, and it is a featured video. We will be live in about 58 minutes time, 0900 for qualifying live. So if you want to join us for that, then join us for that. But what I'm here to talk about is Formula One. Formula One doing a post about Max Verstappen. And they are professional trolls, okay? They do a post, and people are in there as if Max Verstappen is about to break some renowned record. And I understand there's a surge. Max just off the back of his Nürburgring competition and winning in a Ferrari, and now he's here. And I believe he's at the top of the charts in FP3, and nobody knows what's going to happen in qualifying. And I've already been on the record, and I've said this several times, that indeed, if Max Verstappen wins this year's championship, this will be the best championship he has ever won in his entire career and the most legitimate championship. But what I am not on board for is the ridiculous bullshit, what I call soft shaping posts. And what I mean by soft shaping posts is you post something that looks something that is the greatest thing to ever be done, but then you put in small print, it's really not, but we're going to put it real small, all right? So here it is right here, the post they made about Max Verstappen. Nobody's perfect, and saying Max Verstappen has won on every single circuit on the 2025 F1 calendar, except for Singapore. This would make it seem as if this is absolutely a ridiculous, stat. This is going to be some ridiculous record that Max Verstappen is about to break. And if he does, they set it up to go ahead and just talk glowingly about it at the end, right? Max Verstappen doesn't have the record for the most wins at different circuits. Is he close? Yeah, he's closer than he is in other statistical spots, but is he going to have the record for this one? No. It'll just be one more spot. Paul in the super chat says, smash the like button. First day of Deer Archery. That's right. You can't use, I think it's archery, black powder, then center fire, I think. Watching Quietly in the Woods. I have a great weekend. Hey, man, don't mess it up, man. I need some of that venison, man. I need some of that venison, bro. So as it would sit, you would think, like, hey, Max Verstappen, if he wins this Singapore race, he's going to have the record. Yeah, if they make it a record. All of a sudden, they might make it a record. You know what? The most wins on an F1 calendar in this season, that's what they tend to do when they're trying to bolster somebody up. And in no other time have they thought about making this a statistical record that is going to be widely recognized by Formula One. But there is somebody that does have a legitimate statistical record in Formula One for most wins at a different circuit. And not sad to say, but here it is anyway, that person is absolutely Lewis Hamilton. Lewis Hamilton has the record for the most wins at different circuits. Not far behind is Max Verstappen with 6, and up the front is Lewis Hamilton with 31. And I'm going to tell you this, as close as those numbers are, they're a bit further apart than you would realize. Because you would have to realize how many times will we have a new circuit come onto the calendar, and then that person absolutely win at this circuit that is going to be on the calendar. Circuits come on and off all the time, okay? On and off all the time. And I'm going to tell you something else that is a bit more disgusting than even this. And yes, by the way, in small print, they did put down below in that very small print at the bottom, it does say Max Verstappen's winning tracks on the current F1 calendar in very small print. Very small down there. You can barely read it right down there. By the big F1 logo, it says that. So let me say something else as we are about to be into qualifying. Something else that I absolutely found a bit disgusting and double standard and hypocritical. There was a post by Williams Racing of Leah Block, daughter of Ken Block, awesome stunt driver, awesome content creator, awesome driver, awesome person who was very diverse and positive about bringing different people together in that culture of racing, of car automotive, of motorsports. And there was a post about Leah Block celebrating her pole position. And what I found absolutely ridiculous, and I found this ridiculous for a reason. I found it ridiculous for this reason. I'm gonna tell you why I found this ridiculous. I found it ridiculous because I happened to see, because you get trolled by several people. Several people will troll you, right? You'll see several people troll you, and what you'll realize is you kind of are in and out of posts, and you'll see those names pop up. And what I saw was a post, and this was the post right here, right? This was the post. And matter of fact, guess what? The person I'm talking about, their image is still there. This is awesome. This is awesome. You can't make this stuff up. This is going to be great. I thought for a minute there it wouldn't be there because you're going to post so much. This is crazy. So listen, right here, they're celebrating Leah Block's pole position. And there's an asshat down here that says, is it me or is this a weird thing to be celebrating? Is it me or is this a weird thing to be celebrating? Well, I don't think you said that when it's come to Max Verstappen and them having a post about his pole position celebrating. That is absolutely hypocritical, being hypocritical. That is being condescending. That is being contradicting. That is being a legit asshole. Paul in there says, got to build the hype. FIA got there, got to have their poster boy look awesome. Exactly. So I guess if that's not enough, and it's a woman, so to me it comes off a little bit, male chauvinistic. But why is it that Red Bull can post and celebrate Max Verstappen's pole positions at different circuits, but Leah gets her pole position on a reverse grid, and people want to start attacking and saying, is it weird for this to be something to celebrate? No, it's not weird to be celebrated. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. And if that wasn't enough for you to feel like that was worth celebrating, well, I guess you could take the maiden if you want to take that. If that wasn't enough to celebrate, I guess you could take the maiden, right? If you felt that way. Because if you didn't like that, then maybe she could celebrate this. But where is that person on this post? I don't see that person on this post. When Leah Block clutched pole and then clutched her maiden win, where are you on this post talking that type of shit? Where are you now? See, these are the things that Max Verstappen fans do. These are the things that I don't respect about majority of Max Verstappen fans. And these are some of the things that are kind of parallel to Max Verstappen's personality, which I don't support and I don't like. Now, what I will say is, since Christian Horner's been out of there and several other key figures have been out of there, and Max Verstappen hasn't had the most elite dominant car he's with in competition now, there's been a bit milding, and plus his daughter coming into his life, there's been a bit milding of his toxic personality. But there are still toxic people out there just like this. Why would you get on this young lady's post? I know why I do what I do. I do what I do in counterproduction of what you assholes do. And I'm always going to do that. But why would you get on this young lady's post as she's celebrating her win, as she started her motorsports racing career post her dad's death, working to try to fulfill the Ken Block name as Leah Block, actually grabbing a pole position, and their team posting to celebrate a pole position, because that is something to celebrate. We do it all the time. When Formula One F1 men drivers get a pole position, we're celebrating that they got a pole position because they're in the best position to try to win a race. So why are there people on this woman's post of celebrating something that is to be celebrated trying to downplay it? And then she goes and clutches her maiden win, and you're nowhere to be found. This is why I call y'all rats and roaches. This is why I call you rats and roaches. But it's funny. You're willing to celebrate this. You're willing to celebrate somebody about to do something, and somebody about to do something that somebody has already done. Somebody's already done it on a larger scale. Somebody's already achieved something that means a lot more than this, but you're willing to celebrate that. These are the clown type actions that I have no problem why people come here with their abundant amount of hate, their abundant amount of clowning, and they spend an abundant amount of time of their lives worrying about us and worrying about me. That's why I don't mind. I don't mind because a hit dog would holler, and you all squeal and holler like a hit dog, like out of this world. So yes, about 45 minutes, we will be live for qualifying. I found that post ultimately troll-like from good old Formula One, because that's what they do. You know, when they want to do it, like Paul said, FIA got to boost up their poster boy, but I still am on record, and I'm a legit person, so I can do legit things. If Max and McLaren, we'll talk about that later, but if things happen said as I said they might happen, I will completely say, hey, good work, good job. That was awesome. And I will think this is impressive. I think it is impressive, and it should be something to be like, hey, that's pretty damn dope. For a Formula One driver to go and participate in another racing discipline within the season, within a week of a Formula One event, and win it, and then come here if you win Singapore, now that's impressive. That's impressive to go to a different racing discipline, win there within a week's time. I think it's about a week's time. It's definitely not longer than 2 weeks. Within a week's time, if I'm wrong, just correct me, but like I said, not longer than 2 weeks, to come back into one of the most challenging circuits because of the environmental conditions and then win a race here, that's impressive. I give credit where credit is due. I will applaud when such things are meant to be applauded for. But I'm not going to sit here and go along with the hype train, because it's almost like a gambler's addiction. Like a gambler, especially a bad gambler, even when they're wrong, they'll keep saying, eventually I'm going to be right. Eventually I'm going to right. They'll keep putting money on. And then when it finally pops, they're like, I told you, I knew it this whole time. No, that's pretty much what they're doing. They're going to keep putting these fluffed up posts up. They're going to keep manufacturing punishments and penalties that will seem to kind of help somebody else's campaign. And then when they finally get on board and can make it happen now, listen, what they've done is managed to take up the slack until hoping that Max Verstappen can get it back together. And that's exactly what I think he may have done. Well, not him, but the Red Bull team may have done. And then, okay, you got it from here. I'm not going to front. It looks a little bit like that, especially when we look at the penalties and how penalties are assessed and then penalties are handed out compared to this driver, compared to other drivers. Why so different when so many of the articles of evidence are similar? Just the name's different, right? We've seen several penalties. A driver happens not to finish a race, and they say, you know what? It's kind of penalty enough because he didn't finish the race, so it's no further action. Another driver have a penalty, doesn't finish the race. You know what? 5 grid place drop on your next race plus 2 penalty points on your license. What? What's that about? Hey, what's going on? I tell you what's going on. Plenty. But yes, we will see. We will see. Singapore is up on us. We will be here live, 45 minutes for qualifying. That live link is already up. Be here because I think it should be an awesome qualifying, but I'm a bit more concerned that this Singapore which has been very eventful. We could talk about that on another video because Liam Lawson is absolutely tearing things up. But it seems like this is going to be like Baku. It's going to be very eventful through free practice, through qualifying, and then the race will come and drivers will decide to just dial back when probably they should push a bit harder, especially McLaren. Because I think McLaren are about to realize how many times they've shot themselves in the foot. Already Lando Norris looks crazy. I'm going to say it. Already Lando looks crazy. Max Verstappen led FP3, I believe, and FP2, or I think FP2, FP3. I know for sure he led FP3. But this is about This is about to be where McLaren realized they messed up. Pia led FP2, Verstappen was third, and Max Verstappen led FP3. So looking for McLaren to clean it up. But if they don't, this is where they're going to look back. And I think a lot of us will look back and say, you know what? Y'all were some dumbasses again in another season. I mean, fool you once, shame on me. Fool you twice. Well, you're just a dummy. I mean, you're just a dummy. I mean, how are you going to do the same thing back to back seasons and give up a driver's championship because you're so called, quote unquote, playing it fair when you're really not playing it fair? You're really not. You're saying that, but so many decisions that you have made show us that you kind of showed your hand a little bit. You're not really playing it down the middle. It's not really 50-50. It's not really no favoritism. I'm not here for that. So we will see. I will see you soon. Live qualifying watch right here. Wolfpack Performance. Peace and love. We got 43 minutes. Peace.